Hey, so if you don't already know, a little while back I watched the DC animated movie universe, made a video on it, and ended up liking it a lot. However, I will admit it ended on a pretty disappointing note when The Flash made a flashpoint to create a new universe, the Tomorrowverse. I figured, since the first DC universe was enjoyable, I'd watch the Tomorrowverse movies as well, expecting it to be just as good, if not better, than the DC AMU. But it was nothing like the DC AMU. Matter of fact, I'd go as far as to say this collection of movies might just be some of the shittiest media I've watched with my own two eyes. Nah, I'm just kidding, it's not that bad. I'm exaggerating a little bit. In fact, it actually started off pretty good. Man of Tomorrow, I mean, it wasn't great, but a decent way to introduce this new Superman and the new universe. The Long Halloween two-parter, now that was a great movie. By far the best movie in the Tomorrowverse, and low-key, might just be top 3 out of all animated DC movies I've seen. The mystery was really good with some nice plot twists and development for Batman. Seeing Batman have to work on his detective skills is a nice change to typical Batman that can solve mysteries and catch criminals with ease while still being able to pull up like this. Like, yes, Batman, we see the fit. And I think I already said this when I talked about Batman Hush. Whenever Batman and Catwoman are together, I'm always for it. Especially Catwoman in this movie. Oh my god, she's so fine. Anyways, those two movies were good. Everything else?
Y'all are trash. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Y'all are trash.
If there's one thing that really fucked over this universe, it was the pacing. For some reason, only 10 movies made up a universe, and 3 of those movies are just part of one movie, and another movie slot was wasted on Green Lantern, which, with all due respect to Green Lantern, was pointless. I'll get to that movie later. Back to the pacing though, they just went through everything way too fast. They go from introducing Superman and the Flash to World War II, skip the entire formation of the Justice League, like the most important superhero group was just off-screened, then Warworld, and immediately go to every universe ever being destroyed. On top of this, a lot of these movies didn't even take place in the current Tomorrowverse world. World War II was in the past, Warworld was on another planet, Legion of Superheroes was in the future, Green Lantern was on another planet. Like, y'all see the issue here with the world building? There's no screen time on the actual Tomorrowverse Earth. Because of that, there's also no real development for any of the characters. Say what you want about the DC AMU, what that universe did well was explore the characters. They had multiple films about Batman, Damian, the Teen Titans, Constantine, Superman, and also the Justice League as a whole. And I also get that with only 10 movies, it's impossible to be able to develop all these characters. But then that begs the question, why was this universe even created just for it to only get 10 movies? Like, did they know it was only going to be 10, or was it something decided halfway through? I would have preferred them to just not make this universe entirely and put the money they spent into something else instead of giving a not even half-assed, quarter-assed effort like this. Green Lantern, Beware My Power, just boring. None of the characters had anything special about them. And Hal Jordan suddenly going from the strongest Green Lantern, who has the strongest willpower, to doing a complete 180 on all his morals, now wanting to destroy the entire universe moments after a parasite enters his body, was ridiculous. I really feel bad for you Hal Jordan fans out there. Between him being a punching bag in the previous universe to giving him this dumb storyline in the Tomorrowverse, being a Hal Jordan fan must be like being a fan of the New York Jets in the big 2026. Just an awful experience all around. Legion of Superheroes, boring movie, with characters they introduce and build up for a full movie, just to basically never see him again. Kara was cool though, I liked her a lot. Warworld, it felt like they were trying to cram in 3 storylines into one, so none of them were actually interesting. The Wonder Woman and Superman storyline especially, like, what the fuck even happened with those two? Then at the very end, they all come together to realize it was an illusion or something. I don't know, I lost the plot for this halfway through. And then we get to Crisis on Infinite Earths. This trilogy was certainly something. So the first part was awful, or at least very confusing. So confusing to the point where I really couldn't understand anything that was going on. A huge part of this movie was just the Flash jumping between universes or timelines or something. I've never understood the Speed Force all that well, so making a whole movie with a large part of the screen time just the Speed Force is gonna lose me. They also brought in basically every hero known to man, which would seem cool, but didn't really matter because only a few of them actually got any meaningful screen time. Also, the whole conflict was just too sudden. The big climax of every single world being destroyed had absolutely no build-up. The antimatter wave just appears out of nowhere. We don't even know why every universe is being destroyed, so combine these two things with the fact this universe did a terrible job getting established beforehand, it was pretty hard for me to get invested into this movie trilogy to begin with. Anyways, the first movie gets resolved by the Flash doing some Speed Force stuff to build those towers that allow the worlds to phase through the antimatter wave. But of course, that's not the end of it, and now in the second movie there are more antimatter waves and now shadow demons. Still don't know where any of these things come from, by the way. So the second movie was basically just the heroes fighting these shadow demons, exploring Kara and the Monitor's relationship, and only at the end do we finally get some clues on what is causing the conflict, which turns out to be a sentient creature. Now the third movie, I'ma be honest, I thought it was decent, mostly because it actually answered all the questions that was leaving me confused in the first two movies. The beginning seemed really random with the dinosaurs though. Like, this is what I mean when I talk about being confusing. This entire trilogy was just all over the place. We went from universal wave threat to shadow demons, to a singular entity enemy, to a psycho pirate, to dinosaurs.
Bro, I swear I've seen this animal before though.
What is this movie even about at this point? Can anyone tell me? But I digress, because at least the third movie helped me understand why most of the things were happening and how it connected back to the DC AMU. The waves and entity that want to destroy the universe is called the Anti-Monitor, and the Anti-Monitor wants to destroy the Tomorrowverse because there's no Darkseid, as Flash killed Darkseid back when he created a new Flashpoint. Darkseid, for some reason, has to exist in order for the universe to be stable, and since the universe doesn't have Darkseid, it's not stable, and the Anti-Monitor has to destroy it before it shatters reality, or something of that nature. That's my explanation. If anyone wants to correct me, feel free, I want to know. The actual ending, I will admit, I like the idea of merging all worlds into just one world. It seems like a good fresh way to restart if that was the goal, instead of having a Earth 2083. Overall, the Tomorrowverse is not good. Way too rushed, boring plot points, and because it was rushed, they tried to do too much with too little screen time, making a lot of the movies more confusing than interesting or entertaining. Anyways, thanks for watching. Check out my other videos if you want. I'm pretty proud of my recent few ones, especially if you guys want to check them out. And goodbye.
You can be my number one, won't you be my